It's KFI AM 640, and you're listening to The Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app.
Mark Thompson sitting in for Tim Conway Jr. I have a YouTube show that I do. It's all news and politics and stuff. It's kind of fun to splash around here, you know. A little, sometimes a lighter tone here at KFI. But if you want to check it out, it's called The Mark Thompson Show on YouTube. You can subscribe, and it's free. That's the best part of it, that it's free. And you get what you pay for, by the way. So it's on YouTube. Also on the iHeartRadio app and as an audio podcast on Spotify and stuff, too. They are making a closure, and you may have seen this viral video. Did you see the viral video of the guy slamming into the ground this big slab of meat? It hit my Instagram, and apparently it's led to a restaurant closure. Check this out.
Here at 8 restaurant, a restaurant in the Bay Area remains closed this morning after a worker was seen throwing frozen meat onto the ground. It happened last week in the city of Milpitas. Someone on a rooftop saw the worker trying to break apart frozen ribs.
By the way, that's one of the cool aspects of it. Somebody saw this from above, so the person who's doing this can't tell that they're being videoed. It's being shot from someone who's like in an apartment or in a balcony above where this is going on. So it's completely, it's one of those things where, you know, again, as we say, the worker can't tell.
Pizzas. Someone on a rooftop saw the worker trying to break apart frozen ribs in back of Pho Love, a Vietnamese restaurant. He slammed them onto a piece of cardboard. They frequently touch the cement.
He slammed them.
Yeah,
he did. He slammed them.
He slammed them onto a piece of cardboard. They frequently touch the cement and a mop bucket. Employees told health inspectors they were trying to thaw the meat outside due to the lack of indoor space and that it was not served to customers. Inspectors found
wasn't served to customers.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I would say, exactly how does that arithmetic work? Isn't the meat for the customers?
Indoor space, and that it was not served to customers.
Okay.
Inspectors found
wasn't served to customers.
Yeah.
Who was it served to? We're just serving it to the staff? Or
right.
What?
Well, here's the thing, too. They found multiple other violations, including a cockroach infestation.
Shocking.
The restaurant is closed until violations are corrected.
Yeah, gosh, you just wonder how it gets to that point to begin with.
They were just making ground beef.
They get well, you know, the reality is, I would imagine, I mean, I saw the video. He's smashing it against cardboard that is on the ground. Now, apparently it touched a mop bucket and stuff. I didn't see that, but apparently that's there. The cooking of the meat should, if it's cooked properly, kill all those bacteria, right? I mean, I'm just saying, I know it's gross. It's not as gross as it could be. I mean, it's touching the ground on this cardboard. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm not justifying it or suggesting that it's a new kind of preparation technique, but I'm just saying that it's likely that a meat chunk properly cooked will kill all of that bacteria. But it sounds to me like that place has got bigger problems than just that, you know. I'm struck by this story, the story about women and lung cancer. Bizarre and surprising.
An active Chicago mother in her mid-40s, Danielle Hoig, was stunned.
Did you ever think that you were someone who could get lung cancer?
No, never.
Early last year, this scan showing this white mass proved her wrong.
I thought, well, no way do I have lung cancer because I don't smoke.
Her doctor delivering a second blow.
He said to me, it does look like cancer. And oh, by the way, you're not the first young female I've seen today that has lung cancer.
Doctors we spoke with from around the country say they're seeing more young women like Danielle with no history of tobacco use diagnosed with lung cancer. And a new study from Northwestern Medicine shows 65% of people diagnosed with lung cancer today don't qualify for regular screenings that could have caught the disease sooner. That's because current screening guidelines only cover adults 50 to 80 years old who've smoked the equivalent of a pack a day for 20 years.
That is so screwed up. So you're penalized for a cleaner lifestyle and a less cancer-prone lifestyle. You're penalized by the insurance companies.
Disease sooner. That's because current screening guidelines only cover adults 50 to 80 years old who've smoked.
And let me be clear about that. When they say screening guidelines, I mean, I guess those do come from like the American Medical Association, et cetera. There's kind of a consensus among the medical community that younger people who don't have a risk profile shouldn't need the screening. But I also think there's an input from the insurance company. That's why I mentioned it, because I think the underpinning everything with our healthcare system is money. So it's sort of, again, you don't get scans that you don't need or that aren't prescribed in the medical community because, you have to pay for them. Whereas if they are prescribed, oftentimes these scans can be covered in some way by insurance. Anyway, we digress, but I'm just saying that it's a shame that people who are of a lower risk profile are essentially penalized because of a lower risk profile.
That's because current screening guidelines only cover adults 50 to 80 years old who've smoked the equivalent of a pack a day for 20 years. Among those diagnosed too late, Northwestern researchers say more younger non-smokers, the majority women.
They're like, what did I do wrong? I've not smoked. I've never had alcohol. I eat healthy. I exercise. I have stage 4 lung cancer.
Chief of Thoracic Surgery, Dr. Ankit Bharat.
Do we know why lung cancer rates are on the rise among younger women who have never smoked? Do we know why this is happening?
Well, we actually don't right now.
Dr. Bharat says the culprit could be environmental factors like air pollution or things more commonly inhaled by women like cosmetics, aerosols, gas stoves, or cleaning products. But none of that is proven. What is known, lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer deaths nationwide.
We always hear about carcinogens everywhere. You hear about being inundated by this stuff. Essentially, we're bathing in these carcinogens every day, and exposure to all those things mentioned help up that ante. But wow, these statistics are really brutal.
Dr. Bharat is now calling to change the screening guidelines to include all adults 40 to 85. Hoig, whose cancer was caught early by an unrelated scan and treated, still wonders why her.
I could have died and my children would have been without their mom. Really, anyone can get it.
I mean, it's scandalous, though, that, in an illness that you really need to catch early to have any chance, that the screening guidelines are what they are. They don't allow you to screen earlier. So hopefully they do change those guidelines. When we come back, it's a remarkable story of the latest fascination that has grown not only in America, but worldwide with a new pet. We'll get to that next. Mark Thompson here for Tim Conway Jr.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
Mark Thompson here for Tim Conway Jr. as we ramp up to the holidays. Conway is off, taking some holiday time. I was going to get the car washed today, and we had all the rain. Now things are kind of cleared out. The car wash, it takes an hour now to get your car because there's so few people working there now. It's crazy. They had to close the car wash for several days after the ICE raids last month. Absolutely crazy. And I was reading about it just today, that there are so many car wash places that are really stressed, and the people working there are not coming to work. They're so frightened. And even those who are getting their car washed, these are not even people who should be frightened. That is to say, they're not immigrants. They are not Latino. They're not, they can't be profiled. They're not going in to the car wash. They're just frightened by the raids. I mean, no one wants to go into a car wash where, ICE agents come in and you're just trying to get your car washed, and now it turns into a crime scene. I was reading a piece in the LA Times that was just saying from one of the owners who is one of those people who won the green card lottery effectively and sunk all of his savings into opening this car wash. He says, my target is to pay the rent, pay the insurance, and pay the guys. He's an immigrant from Mexico. And apparently the concern is that these guys are exposed to the street. So you have street vendors, I guess day laborers, the Home Depot guys, farm workers, gardeners. They've all become easy pickings. And so you never really feel safe if you're any of these people. They say the last time the ICE agents stormed that car wash that I'm talking about, the one in my neighborhood, it was like a kidnapping, he said. Felt like we were in Afghanistan or Iraq, not in the middle of Los Angeles. And, many of these people have been in the country for decades. We know this story, but it's really affecting life for these people and life in and around Southern California and the economy on a broader level. But anyway, I literally was there today trying to get the car, and I thought, it's too long. I don't have an hour to sink into this. And bosses are saying, I thought this is interesting, that if immigration agents come back, that the workers should consider locking themselves inside the cars they were cleaning. The manager says, don't run. They'll only chase you. So this idea somehow that, again, getting in and out of the car wash may just be an all-day affair if it turns into one of those situations. So you've got drama, you have disappointment, you even have a lot of these owners of car washes saying, hey, it's totally cool if you want to go after criminals and stuff, but these people aren't criminals. I pay taxes on their stuff. They pay taxes on their stuff. And this is absolutely a legitimate situation. These are hardworking people. So, I don't know. It's definitely changed life. And as we slide into the holidays, just seems like one of those situations that, is at best unresolved. And it used to just be criminals that they'd arrested, and now they've had quotas that have been increased so substantially that they have to make additional arrests. The newest pet. This household pet, more popular in America and maybe worldwide. The growing fascination with raccoons. New scientific research is suggesting that raccoons are literally becoming physically cuter, and that is maybe fueling their rise as unconventional household pets.
Trash pandas?
Yes, and in fact, trash is part of this. Trash may be the real Kickstarter, according to the author of one of the studies out of the University of Arkansas. Trash creates easy food opportunities that reward animals that are brave enough but not too brave to live near people. And so because we interact around these creatures over generations, that balance of boldness and caution softens their natural fight or flight response, and it reshapes their features. I know, it seems wild, but this is what scientists call domestication syndrome, which includes traits like shorter snouts, smaller skulls, changes in coat color, more docile temperaments. So urban raccoons appear to be changing in the way they look and the way they act. And so, yes, the trash pandas, the backyard bandits, increasingly comfortable around people as they adapt to city life. And they even get internet fame as a result of, some Ring camera thing. So humans are choosing raccoons, and raccoons are choosing us. It's a holiday love story. And raccoons are on the rise as a pet in more and more households. And they all lived happily ever after. Thompson here for Conway.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
Mark Thompson sitting in for Tim Conway Jr. Andy Riesmeyer after this show. He's going to stop in and say hi. There's a bizarre story of a JetBlue pilot dying after eating a hamburger, and they thought that this guy was allergic to red meat, and no one was aware of it. But it turns out the story is even more bizarre than that. And, all right. And check this out.
JetBlue pilot died after eating a hamburger. The autopsy called it a sudden, unexplained death. His fate baffled his family. He seemed to be in perfect health. But now, a full year after the pilot's mysterious death, a team of doctors has found the explanation, and their conclusion is scary. They believe that a tick bite made the 47-year-old pilot allergic to red meat, and nobody knew it. The speed of pilot Brian Waitzel's decline is astonishing.
So it was a tick bite that made him allergic to red meat. So the two things were linked, but provoked was the red meat reaction by the tick bite.
Made the 47-year-old pilot allergic to red meat, and nobody knew it. The speed of pilot Brian Waitzel's decline is astonishing. He was at a barbecue at his daughter's high school when he ate the burger at 3 p.m. By 7:20 p.m., he was vomiting in his bathroom. By 7:37 p.m., he was unconscious. At 10:22 p.m., he was declared dead at a local hospital, leaving behind his wife, Piper, and 3 children. It's now believed Waitzel was bitten when he was jogging at a state park near his home in Wall Township, New Jersey.
By the way, having been bitten by a tick, I had Lyme disease. It was very serious. I'll spare you the story, but you don't always know you're bitten by a tick. I mean, tick bites go down all the time. Most of the time, you're not even aware of it. That's why they have you check yourself.
My dad took me to get my hair cut one time when I was a little kid, and the woman who was cutting my hair, she found a tick in my head. It was just the grossest thing in the world.
Yeah, they tell you, after you've been out for a walk or whatever to check yourself. This is particularly in areas that have tick infestations more commonly.
Wooded areas, yeah.
Yeah, wooded areas. But this condition that they've talked about is a real thing. It's called alpha-gal syndrome, AGS, where a tick's saliva sensitizes a person to a sugar called alpha-gal, and this causes the body's immune system to have this allergic reaction to mammalian meat like beef, pork, or lamb. And usually 2 to 6 hours after consumption, you begin this reaction. And symptoms can range from the hives and nausea to apparently this, which is death. It's insane how quickly this 47-year-old pilot succumbed to this.
According to the New York Times, he returned from the jog with a dozen small bites around his ankles. He apparently had been bitten by the Lone Star tick, which gave him the red meat allergy.
It is becoming a growing problem.
Dr. Erin McGinty is an expert on the condition.
The patient has no awareness that they could be allergic until 2 hours later when they are experiencing symptoms. So they feel completely fine when they're eating it.
The pilot's widow says she is relieved she no longer has to tell people we don't know why he died. It brings a lot of closure.
Well, maybe. I mean, it brings a lot of sadness. The dude had, he bought the farm from a tick bite that produced his death within hours, it sounds like. And this is really beautiful. Did you know about this? That these tick, look, I know Lyme disease because I had it. And of course, Lyme disease can lead to all kinds of horrors. And there have been documentaries on it, and you can see them, and and I'm sure many of you know people who had Lyme disease. Maybe you had Lyme disease yourself. That's been my exposure to tick bites and some of the physical tragedy that can be wrought by tick bite. But this, he was declared dead 7 hours after eating the hamburger, and the hamburger reaction was brought on by this tick bite that sensitized his body to it. 7 hours. Jogging at a state park in New Jersey, 7 hours later, he's dead. A JetBlue pilot, 47 years old. Wow. That is just wild. I got my tick bite at a wedding. Yet another reason not to go to a wedding.
Where was it at?
It was in rural Maryland.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you.
There you go.
When I came back to L.A., I started manifesting all of these symptoms of, like, the flu. Like fever, persistent fever, really sore throat, but I mean super sore throat. Had trouble swallowing my own saliva. And aches and pains, body aches, and I did have a rash all over my body. Now, when you go back, once you know it's Lyme disease, you go back and go, my God, these are all the classic signs of Lyme disease. It's like Wheel of Fortune with all of the letters turned, and the doctors were all going, I just can't figure it out. Because, to be fair, it's less common out here. So I went back to rural Maryland, contracted the tick bite and the Lyme disease there, and the doctor asked, at one point, I actually changed doctors because the one doctor seemed to be so it was insistent that it was the flu, and I just knew it wasn't. I mean, I just knew it was something different. And so that's when I changed doctors. And the second doctor said, have you been camping? And I think he was thinking Lyme disease. He said, have you been camping or hiking? And the answer with me is always no. I haven't been camping or hiking, but the real question is, have you been in any kind of rural environment or wooded environment? That's what you should really ask yourself. And the answer to that was yes, at this wedding. And they just got it in time with me. I had it for 38 days. It gets very, very dangerous after that. And yet, if you can catch it early, Lyme disease anyway, you can knock it right out with a simple antibiotic. But for all who are struggling with Lyme and who've contracted Lyme, you know what I'm talking about. But I was unaware that there's an even more dangerous illness, apparently, provoked by a tick bite, a different kind of tick. Crazy. And now this JetBlue pilot is gone because of it. When we come back, we'll talk to Andy, who I guess is coming in tonight.
You know.
I love it. Always love to hang with Andy for a few minutes. We'll do that next. Mark Thompson for Tim Conway Jr.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
Mark Thompson sitting in for Tim Conway Jr. Just wrapping things up. Andy Riesmeyer's in tonight, and you know him from Channel 5. They've got you doing everything there over Channel 5.
I do a little bit of everything. I'm trying to follow in your footsteps, you know.
Thank you.
Just I don't dance. But I definitely can I can fake the weather.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that you'll always know what the weather situation in Los Angeles is like if I am doing weather, because they don't let me do it if it's bad.
Right. It couldn't be too bad if you're doing it.
So it's like this guy, okay, we're probably going to have a pretty good week if you see me up there. So I'm so happy to finally get to meet you. I've spoken to you. I interviewed you after Sam passed away.
Oh, that was so intense, man. Sam Rubin's passing was so intense.
We loved him so much, and I know you knew him forever. And one of the things that I love to reflect on is that Fox used to be across the street, literally.
That's right.
From KTLA.
That's right.
At Sunset Bronson. Now I think it's a high school, right? Where Fox used to be. They tore it down.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, it used to be Metro Media, then it was Fox, and you're right next to the Tribune lot, next to, and now Tribune is sold that place.
Yeah, it's Nexstar now. We have the same. We share the lot with Netflix, and they don't want anything to do with us. Yeah, they don't. Well, they just don't care about us.
It's a working lot. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
I did a show called Guinness Prime Time. People came on and they set Guinness records on the show. So the guy would come on and he balanced drinking glasses on his chin, like 2.5 stories worth of drinking glasses.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so it was that kind of thing, really exotic. It was really a cool, fun show to host. But I did it on the KTLA lot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'd go from Fox 11 and I'd just cross the street over to KTLA.
Right.
And we'd shoot, all day and into the night. But the fun part of it was that the dressing room they gave me to kind of hang out in or whatever was Judge Judy's dressing room. Because they shoot Judge Judy.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All of the daytime, I wouldn't say filler, but the syndicated strip shows, which the Judge shows. They had Let's Make a Deal used to be there.
Oh, wow.
They had a lot of really and you'd be going into work in the morning and then you'd see all the crazy people who were in the audience for Let's Make a Deal.
Sure.
Shivering in their little spandex tight situation with the tutu and stuff like that because they were, they had to dress up like crazy to get on the show. So
that's right.
And then you'd have, a reporter coming in after a triple homicide or whatever. And driving past all these people, and just like, well, that's another day in L.A., isn't it?
That is the yin and yang of all of these lots, I remember when I would go over to the Sony lot. Like I did a 2 days on Air Force One, that movie with Harrison Ford.
I didn't know you were in that.
Yeah, I've got to go. That story, I'll tell you that another time. It's just awful what happened with Air Force One.
No. Well, did
if you watch Air Force One.
Uh-huh. I watch it every year.
There's a scene it's the Thanksgiving feel-good movie. If you watch Air Force One, there is a scene in multiple scenes, I think, but at least one in the gaggle that is the press room at the White House, right? And now the president, of course, has been, taken on Air Force One. And the vice president is there. Glenn Close, I think it was. Yeah. And so we're all there, and we have speaking lines, the people who are ISO'd in that. So we shoot the way it worked, this story is already too long.
No, I'm gripped. I am just on the edge of my seat.
To make a long story longer.
Okay.
And the one thing about Air Force One is it was shot by, the director is Wolfgang Petersen, who's a very famous German director who did Das Boot, et cetera. So it's kind of like prestigious to be there.
Right.
So there are three of us with speaking lines. And again, if you watch the movie, you're going to be able to see what I'm talking about. And we all kind of just, I think I had the line, which was, is James Marshall still president? That's the money line in that scene.
Yeah.
And at lunch, I meet the producer's mom. And she's this very nice lady.
Okay.
And I had no sense. What I'm about to tell you, I would never do this today. But back then, I kind of felt like, I don't know, I don't care.
Were you already on TV doing weather?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was.
You were already. You already.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I auditioned for this, got it, whatever. Yeah. So what happened was they bring in, and I'll get back to the mom in a second. They bring into the room. It was just the three of us. They line up the shot. Then they bring into the room like 100 people. Roughly, maybe even more than 100 extras.
Right.
They're all the rest of the press corps.
Yeah.
And they have people who are playing like photographers. They have cameras and all these things are going off. And so when we actually rehearsed the scene, this lady who is the producer's mom, you couldn't hear her because she couldn't really shout and everybody shouting over her.
Yeah.
So at lunch, I said, take this line and I'll take your line.
Oh, no.
I thought we'd both be in the movie. I didn't think, dude, you're like, and so she, because I can shout, I said, over everybody.
Yeah.
You, I think it's a little harder. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. We talked. It was not a big deal. I said, so we'll take that line. I'll take this line. It doesn't matter. And they kind of, it didn't matter to them either. I could tell.
Which is a surprise. It didn't matter to the director, especially a German director who you would assume would be.
Yeah.
The guy who did Das Boot is not just letting the day players switch the script up.
I mean, I was reporter number 2, and she was reporter. It was not like he really was wedded to it, as long as those lines got in. So then something happened, and I think she gave the line to this young girl who was younger girl, 23-year-old, 24-year-old, in the front row or second row. We're all kind of toward the front. And that girl got the line. Because I'm thinking, when I saw the movie, I thought, wait a minute, that's not
the lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't remember you being that young 20-something woman.
No, who says
James Marshall's still the president. Yeah.
But what you will see, and this is how I say, if you watch Air Force One, you'll be able to notice what I'm talking about. You'll see a cutaway of me. You'll see a close-up of me.
Okay.
I'm supposed to have an effing line.
You have a moment that is anticipated.
Yeah, I'm supposed to have a line, but I gave it away.
You gave it away.
Something like what I just described happened.
Mark Thompson, that could have been your break.
Yeah.
That was your pathway to Oscars.
Well,
and I mean, hey, listen, did the check clear?
I know that, right. It was 2 days. But what got me onto this is the lot thing.
Yeah.
Because while I was there for Air Force One, you know what else was? And they're everywhere. They were walking everywhere. Starship Troopers.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're all dressed up like.
Man, it's like.
It was the coolest vibe.
The old days. Because there's nothing shooting anymore.
Yeah.
At Netflix, there's a lot of people having meetings. Yeah. Very important. KTLA, obviously, we're still doing our news thing, but those shows, I mean, Netflix basically runs the whole lot. So all the talk shows, all the daytime shows are gone.
Wow.
And it's a weird feeling because when I interned there 15-ish years ago, it was a working studio.
Sure.
And it was exciting. And I remember being like a kid from Indiana thinking, oh, hooray for Hollywood.
Right.
And, now it's just like, man.
Now they have those meetings. They have the meetings in Netflix, and then they go shoot in Atlanta
Budapest.
or they shoot in Budapest, right. Or Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sucks. And it's one of the things that the town is dealing with right now because it has a ripple effect across the entire community.
I hear you. And, at least we have this little AM radio station to hang out at. At the very least, we've got this cool vintage analog thing that we're doing.
So it's a throwback. It's legacy media.
Yeah.
Are you here tomorrow as well?
I don't think so.
Yeah, this is just a one-off. So
I do Mondays and Fridays, at least I've been doing it for the past month, and then I'll probably do it for at least the end of the year, Mondays and Fridays. And then I do a show on Sunday from 2 to 4 here. And it's fun. It's amazing. And I know that as a radio guy who's also done TV, it's a really different muscle than the TV thing. It's fun. Sure. I love it, but the learning curve is a lot steeper, I think.
And you live or die by your own.
That's exactly right.
You did an interview. I know we're late. Just to mention this.
I will cede my time if you're going to compliment me.
But I was going to, because it was really good. Who was it with? Did you talk to John Tesh, maybe?
I did.
It was great.
Thank you.
It was great.
I had him on. We had him on the show here, and
it was absolutely terrific.
Thank you so much. He was wonderful. So gracious to give us so much time. I know Mark Ronner, who's there, was hugely excited that Tesh called it.
Well, it's John Tesh, for God's sake.
That's right.
But the other thing is, I was impressed with how really honest he was. It was like a really, I mean, not that he revealed anything like it was so disparaging or awful, but I'm just saying, the conversation felt like, he wasn't, playing like, he was very unvarnished about
Totally.
everything.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, he's an old school guy.
Yeah.
But I think that there's something about him. He's always the showman, I think is what it is. And
he mentioned that you play music too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was fun. We could connect on that a little bit.
Yeah, that was cool that he referenced that. All right, I'm out of town. Otherwise, I would have even more compliments for you.
You can stay if you want. I'm sure you don't want to. But.
I mean,
don't go, Mark.
I want to, but I can't. I've got a thing I got to go to.
You got a thing.
All right. Good luck, kids. We'll see you tomorrow. Mark Thompson here.
Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app. Now, you can always hear us live on KFI AM 640, 4 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and anytime on demand on the iHeartRadio app.